Isang mapagpalang araw mga karadyo eskwela sa Isabela. Ako si Diosdado B. Sicolles mula sa San Mateo Vocational and Industrial High School. Maraming salamat po sa RBI team sa mga kaalaman na inyong hinatid sa aming mga mag-aaral gamit ang radyo at FB page. Simula nung ako'y nakinig sa Radyo Eskwela sa Isabela, marami akong napulot na kaalaman na nakakatulong sa pagsagot sa aking mga module. Alam kong sa SDO Isabela ay walang batang maiiwan. Hashtag we learn and heal as one.
Senior High School On-Air Academy. Unstoppable! Delivering you quality education amidst pandemic.
To declare school opening to October 5.
Unstoppable!
Giving you accessible learning platform anytime, anywhere.
Ang klase, whatever form it is.
Comprehensible!
Buckle up and get yourself ready.
I will repeat, then you will do it later on.
Accurate!
The sphere that includes all living things.
Today, we will be talking about rational functions.
Simplified.
This is Jaw speaking. How may I help you?
This is the School Radio's Senior High School On-Air Academy.
And now, here's your new episode for English Exactly. Your guide for the subject English for academic and professional purposes.
English exactly.
English Exactly.
The most important thing is, whatever you do, decide to choose. Take it seriously and do your best. Thank you for always choosing to stay with us here at Radyo Eskwela sa Isabela. I know that you are doing your best, my dear learners, and as always, it's a great honor to be with you. I am your radio teacher, Teacher Emma Luisa M. Fernando, and I will be your guide in this episode today. So listen attentively and have fun!
Yay!
Grade 11, are you now ready for another interesting lesson?
Oh yeah!
That's awesome! But before we begin, kindly clap your hands and tell yourself, I can do this. That's the energy I'm waiting for. Now, I know you are really ready. Today, learners, we are going to determine the objectives and structures of various kinds of reports. But before that, let us check first your answers to the quiz during our last episode. Your task was to write T if the underlined word makes the statement true, and if false, change the underlined word to make it correct. Number 1, not acceptable. Number 2, not always. Number 3, true. Number 4, true. And number 5, location. That's it! Did you answer each item correctly? You are really great! This time, before we proceed with our next lesson, listen first to this important reminder.
Now that we are in the new normal, let us practice new things. Observe social and physical distancing at all times. Disinfect our things. Let our temperature be checked. Always wash your hands with soap and water. Use hand sanitizers. Avoid crowded places. And always wear your face mask and face shield. Always remember these things because health is wealth. Let us beat COVID-19. A reminder from the Department of Health, Department of Education, and this station.
Hey, hey, hey! We are back! Are you ready, learners?
I'm ready!
Survey report, field report, technical report, laboratory. Are you familiar with these three, my dear learners? Oh yes, I've expected that. Indeed, you are amazing. These are examples of reports. Have Have you tried making one of these? Maybe yes, maybe no. Today, we are going to study the different reports and their characteristics. Now, what is a report? Reports are documents that wish to inform, analyze, or recommend. These are essential to keep an updated account of an event, situation, and organization. Reports are often expressed through oral or written presentations. A report is a specific form of writing that is organized around concisely identifying and examining issues, events, or findings that have happened in a physical sense, such as events that have occurred within an organization or findings from a research investigation. Furthermore, reports communicate information which has been compiled as a result of research and analysis of data and of issues. This will provide important detail that can be used to help develop future forecasts, marketing plans, guide budget planning, and improve decision making. Now that you already have an idea about a report, let's discuss the 3 most commonly known types of reports. Will you name the first one? Incredible! It is the survey report. Do you have any idea what a survey report is? Aha! Survey reports present and analyze the results and findings of research or survey or information gathered from door-to-door surveys or questionnaires concerning reactions to a product, plan, event, service, and idea, including general assessment, conclusions, and suggestions or recommendations. Do you have any idea about its 3 objectives? Well, learners, the first is learn more about your target audience. For example, using survey to find out what your subscribers want, need, and like will come in handy when you are segmenting your list based on these factors. If your lists are narrow and specific, the better your odds are of example conversion rates. Second, receive feedback regarding a recent event, product, or service. This enables you to evaluate the effectiveness of your recent event, product, or service. Asking your audience to contribute their opinion can help you to be even more successful in your future business endeavors or to improve services provided. And third, establish positive relationships. When you open the lines of communication between you and your subscribers, it shows that you value what they have to say. They will develop a level of trust for you and the business you present, and the odds of them returning to you and recommending you to their family and friends will increase. Learners, have you tried writing a survey? That's good! Now let's look at the structure of a survey report. Can you tell me the first part? Nice one! The first is introduction. Here, you should state the purpose or aim of the report, why it is written, when, and how the information was gathered. Next is the main body. What can we find in it? Absolutely! It's where all the information collected and analyzed are presented clearly and in detail. For example, you can break down the respondents into groups according to sex, age, and place of residence. How do you do it? Alright! You state the main differences between groups to make it clearer. You can also use subheadings, numbers, or letters to separate each piece of information. How about the last part? Very good! It's the conclusion. This is to sum up the points mentioned from your introduction and body if necessary. A recommendation can be included as well. One way of summing up is making some general comments. Quite easy, right? Brilliant! Now, let us proceed to the next type of report. Will you tell me what it is? That is right! The next one is technical report, which is a document written by a researcher detailing the results of project that needs different approaches of data collection and treatment to convey technical information in a clear and easily accessible format. A technical report is not peer-reviewed unless subsequently published in a peer-reviewed journal to assess the quality of the article submitted for publication. Now, can you state the 5 objectives of a technical report? Good job! The objectives are: first, information or to research or obtain data. Number 2, experiments or to conduct experiments of test. Number 3, prototypes or to build out elements of solution to gather information such as user feedback or to confirm feasibility or possibility. Number 4, infrastructure or to develop tools that can be used by the people to achieve goals. And number 5, measurement and calculation or to develop measurements, calculations, metrics, reports, and benchmarks. Are you now ready to learn how to write a technical report?
I'm ready!
That's the spirit! Here is the structure. First is the letter of transmittal. It introduces the purpose and content of the report to the principal reader. Learners, this gives you an opportunity to emphasize whatever you think your reader will find, particularly in the attached material. Also, it enables you to point out any errors or omission in the material. That's the spirit. Here is the structure. First is the letter of transmittal. It introduces the purpose and content of the report to the principal reader. Learners, this gives you an opportunity to emphasize what you think your reader will find, particularly in the attached material. Also, it enables you to point out any errors or omission in the material. A transmittal letter contains the following elements. Number 1, a statement of title and purpose of report. Number 2, a statement of who authorized the project and when. Number 3, a statement of method used in the project or of the principal results, conclusion, and recommendations. And number 4, an acknowledgement of any assistance you received in preparing the material. The second component of a technical report is the title page. This is usually composed of the title, name and position of writer, name and position of principal reader, and date of submission. For a simple title page, center the title. Type in full capital letter, about a third of the way down the page. Then, add the reader's and writer's position, the organization's name, and date. Remember, class, that a good title must be informative and answers to basic questions. What is the subject of the report? And what type of report is it? Are you still with me?
Oh yeah!
And you're doing well. Now, what's the next part of a technical report's structure? Wow! You have read your learning activity sheet in advance. The next one is the abstract. It's like a brief technical summary that shows the major aspects of the entire paper. Usually, it is not more than 200 words of the report. It helps the readers decide whether to read the full report or not. And in writing this, there are two types. And the first is the descriptive abstract, or sometimes called topical or table of contents. It lists the topic covered, giving equal coverage to each. Take note that it does not provide the important results, conclusion, or recommendations. Second is the informative abstract, which states the problems, the scope, and methods, and the major results, conclusion, or recommendations. The third part of a technical report's structure is the table of contents. Are you familiar with this?
Oh yeah!
Of course you are. You see it in your books. Why is a table of contents important? Yes! It enables different readers to turn to specific pages to find the information they want and will provide guide to the report's structure, coverage, and pagination. The report should have an effective heading in order to have an effective table of contents. The report should have an effective heading in order to have an effective table of contents. The fourth one is the executive summary, or sometimes called the executive overview or the management summary in the technical report structure. It is a one-page condensation of a report. Do you know what it discusses? Exactly! This part discusses the background of the project, the specific problem that is to be solved through the project, and the conclusion and recommendations. Ready for the fifth part? Nice one! It's the glossary and list of symbols. If you have a book with you, try to look for its glossary. Where is it located? Yes, at the back. It is an alphabetic list of definitions of words or phrases of the technical words used. On the other hand, the list of symbols defines the symbols and abbreviations used in the report. These are very useful in addressing the possibility that readers may encounter unfamiliar technical vocabulary used in the report. You can put an asterisk or any other notation along the word to tell the audience that the word is defined in the glossary or list of symbols. These are generally placed at the end of the report just before the appendix, but if it is just a brief one, it can be placed right after the table of contents. The sixth one is the introduction. Like a typical introduction, this section gives the reader the necessary background information and leads straight into the report itself. A typical introduction may include the following contents. Number 1, main aim or aims, objectives, and scope or the parameters of the report. Number 2, importance of the current project or scientific knowledge or commercial operations. Number 3, an overview of the report's sections. Number 4, methods of approach. Number 5, indications of scope and limitations of the study. And number 6, outline of material presented in the rest of the report. Somehow you are familiar with this, am I correct? We'll now proceed to the seventh, which is the body. This is usually the longest and most important part in the structure of the report. Thus, the material must be presented logically to make it easy to read because this includes all the main content of the report, like what task was at hand, what were the findings, what methodology was used to find the findings, comparison and discussion of the results. Wow! We still have the eighth part, the conclusion. Of course, it answers the questions raised by the original research problem or objectives of the study. The conclusions should be a condensed version of the intervening sections, giving the key findings of the work, where everything should have already been presented in the discussion, and no new scientific argument should be presented here. Take note, learners, that the conclusion must arise from the evidence discussed in the body of the report and should not, therefore, subjectively tell the reader what to do, because this job is performed by the recommendations section. And we now proceed to the ninth one, the recommendations section. This section tells the reader what to do, what decision to make, what course of action to take, what solution is superior, or what further work needs to be undertaken. Just like in the conclusion, the recommendations section should never contain any new evidence and should arise from the information presented in the body and conclusion sections. Recommendations in the technical report structure should be feasible and appropriate to the problem. For example, their cost should be realistic to the budget and they should be ethical. They should be as concrete and specific as possible. They can be written in descriptive as well as bullet form, whatever is desired. Let your reader know why you are recommending an action by supplying the reasons for your decision drawn from the conclusions of the report. I hope you are not experiencing information overload because we still have the 10th and the last one, the appendix. This part provides information that is too bulky to be presented in the body, including maps, large technical diagrams or charts, computations, test data, and texts of supporting documents. Also, appendices are usually lettered. That's it, learners! Are all the parts crystal clear? Now, let us proceed to the last kind of report, the field report laboratory. It is a complete detailed report of an experiment. The information provided in a lab report should be specific enough that the reader would be able to replicate the experiment. This consists of 3 parts. First is the front matter, which includes front cover, title page. The title of the report clearly identifies the subject of the report, and the table of contents, the section headings and page numbers. Second part is the body of report, which includes number 1, the introduction that identifies the experiment to be undertaken, objectives and significance, and provides the background necessary to understand it. Number 2, procedures or methods, wherein the procedures are presented clearly so that others could replicate your experiment if they so desired. Number 3, abstract or a brief informational synopsis of your experiment. Number 4, conclusions or an informal statement of the achievements and claims. Number 5, results and discussion, which analyzes and conveys results of the experiment, which can be visual with graphs and tables. And number 6 is the list of references or bibliography. The third part is the back matter, where we can find First, appendices, containing data too extensive or tangential to warrant inclusion in the main body of the report, but necessary as procedural or analytic evidence. Second, indexes, showing a list of the main contents or items appearing in a report, such as personal or geographical names or other topics, arranged in alphabetical order. And third, back cover containing the name, address, telephone, fax, email, and website of the issuing organization and or printer and other relevant information on report availability. Those are the 3 types of reports. Did you get them all? Are you still with me?
Aye, Captain!
Excellent! Now, to help you in making your own reports, I have here guidelines in writing the survey, field or laboratory, and technical report. The first one is value communicated. It entails the objective, accurate, and honest presentation of facts and results. Second, basic content. It may include eyewitness accounts or first-hand information, facts, data, figures, or statistics on or from people, events, phenomena, structures, experiments, questionnaires, interviews, and library research and materials and procedures or methods. Third, basic qualities of a good report, which should be objective, accurate, honest, brief, and direct sentences. And there you have it, my dear learners. Now let's have a short recap of our discussion with these questions. What is a report? You are attentive. Reports are documents that wish to inform, analyze, or recommend. What are the 3 types of reports? Very good retention. Survey reports which present and analyze the results and findings of research concerning reactions to a product, plan, including general assessment, conclusions and suggestions or recommendations. Technical reports that are written by a researcher detailing the results of project to convey technical information, and field report laboratory showing a complete detailed report of an experiment. Wow! You got everything right! Therefore, I know you are now ready for an activity. Before we begin, be sure you are holding your pen and paper because we'll be right back after this reminder.
Elena, have you washed your hands already? Oh yes, Karen. Me too. We need to always wash our hands with soap and water to kill germs and bacteria and to keep us away from COVID-19. You're right, Elena. Proper hand washing is a protection against COVID-19. This information is from the Department of Health, Department of Education, and this station.
We're back! Are you ready, learners?
Oh yeah!
Alright! Choose the letter of the correct answer from the following choices. Letter A, title. Letter B, methods. Letter C, reference. Letter D, abstract. Letter E, result. Letter F, introduction. I repeat. Choose the letter of the correct answer from the following choices. Letter A, title. Letter B, methods. Letter C, reference. Letter D, abstract. Letter E, result. And letter F, introduction. Let's start! Number 1. This is the part of the report that states the purpose of your work. Again, this is the part of a report that states the purpose of your work. Number 2. It is where the procedure in a report is shown. I repeat, it is where the procedure in a report is shown. Number 3. Olivar J.T. II, Rodolfo R.S., and Cabrera H.B. 2016. Exploring Life Through Science Series Earth Science. Page 210 to 216. Phoenix Publishing House Incorporated. Again, Olivar J.T. II, Rodolfo R.S., and Cabrera H.B. 2016. Exploring Life Through Science Series Earth Science. Page 210 to 216. Phoenix Publishing House Incorporated. Number 4. Through this part, you will understand the main issue of the report. Again, through this part, you will understand the main issue of the report. Number 5. In this part, all the data, findings, and results are stated. Again, in this part, all the data, findings, and results are stated. That's it, learners! I hope you have answered carefully since we'll find out about your scores next episode. And that concludes another fun-filled learning adventure, my dear learners. I hope you learned much from today's episode. Only here at Radyo Eskwela sa Isabela, your school away from school. On behalf of the whole SDO Isabela RBI production team, this is your ultimate ka-shiner, your script writer, and your radio teacher, Teacher Emma Luisa Marzan Fernando, saying, "You're braver than you believe, and stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. Stay safe!"
Patuloy ang edukasyon para sa ating henerasyon.
Sa daan ng pagkatuto ay walang may iwan.
Kaya halina sa Radyo Eskwela!